What's good, people? Time for another Magic Man review. Today we've got a special treat. This book is called A New Science of Heaven by Robert Temple. Now, a lot of people in the, I would say, the conspiracy channels, they've been talking about this book. Catherine Austin Fitz talked about it. Joseph P. Farrell's talked about it. So I'm like, man, I gotta read this book. Everybody's talking about this book. What's going on? And it was a hard book to read. Hard book to read because it bounces around a lot. It's like, well, we'll discuss this in the next chapter. I'm like, dude, discuss it now. You brought it up, man. Don't play with my emotions like that. And it really, the guy's a scientist, okay? He writes in a scientific manner that's kind of hard to follow. He doesn't go A, B, and C. It's kind of like an algebraic equation. He goes like, if x minus is y, divided by 2 equals, what is y? That's the kind of stuff, that's the kind of format he's got. It's not easy to read at all. And he kind of goes into a who's who of the scientific world concerning plasma. And that's what really the book is about, plasma. All right. Now, I didn't even know what plasma was, and I work on a plasma table. I had to ask. I asked one of my supervisors. That's like, what kind of plasma are we burning here? He's like, oh, nitrogen. I'm like, ionized nitrogen? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I didn't even know. I turn it on. It works. That's all I need to know. All right. But a lot of information in the book he's dealing with scientists and their background and stuff like that. And I mean, this is his world, so yeah, okay, this is what he wants to put out there. I mean, if somebody likes a football team or, I don't know, fishing, they're going to tell you all about different kind of players in the game, or who is who invented this fishing lure, stuff like that. You can expect that, but it makes it a little bit hard to read sometimes because you're like, dude, get to the meat and potatoes. I don't need to know about the scientist, all right? One of the things, though, in this book that you're going to learn, well, it's no surprise. We came across this. If you go back to my Graham Hancock books that I reviewed, I think America Before, and Graham Hancock gets a lot of this. He's like, well, you're no archaeologist, Graham Hancock. You don't know this and this. This is what the orthodoxy says. This is what our theories are, and they're not even theories. They're facts because we're the archaeologists, we're the scientists, and you don't know what you're talking about. You're a quack. You're a sham. This guy's a scientist. Well, actually, I don't even know if he's a scientist. Let me look real quick. Doesn't say. He's a scientist because he does scientific work. Okay, I'm brain fart here. Okay, but you get a lot of the same thing, a lot of pushback from the scientific community because they have their narrative, and as you know, people love their narratives. This is the script. We're sticking to the script. You don't deviate from the script. If you get outside the script, then you're either a nut job, a conspiracy theorist, or a wacko. You don't know what you're talking about. You've been eating mushrooms or something. You're crazy. You're one of those crazy people. You're just out there trying to make money. Spouting out BS. It's not true. Okay, lots of different scientists. Even the scientists that he mentions in this book, they said you guys are quacks. You don't know what you're talking about. This is from the other scientists, mind you. This is from academia, all right? Academia they do some good stuff, but it's an institution. It's a closed institution. And these scientists, they have their own little closed institutions, all right? But even in the book, some of these scientists were proven right. I mean, they were given all kinds of awards and stuff like that. Oh, sorry, you were right all along, sorry, whoopsie daisy. You're not a quack. But you would get, this is one of the things I read so much, I try to get outside of the box, is because there's a whole bunch of information out there that it doesn't get talked about, and it's game changing. It really is game changing. This book, if you get into it, the whole premise of it is that 99% of the world, the universe, is comprised of plasma, and scientists have barely scratched the surface about what's going on with plasma. Okay, now there's two plasma clouds circling the Earth right now. Didn't even know about it. It's named after some Polish scientist. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name. Read the book. All right. One of the interesting things he said in this book is that the climate change, the models they're working on are all flawed. So they can't really diagnose climate change. So that little religion kind of goes, the climate change religion goes. Not saying it's right or wrong. What he's saying is the models are wrong, so they can't really make precise conclusions about what's going on with climate change. All right. But yeah, this book really kind of it'll change your perspective on things, because what he does in this book is trying to wed the science and kind of spirituality together. All right. Let's see what else we got in my notes. Yeah, it was hard to read. But overall, I think it's a very, very good book. All right. He's one of the things he says in here that really got me thinking was what do they call it? Plasma balls, I believe it was. There's these little balls of plasma, and I forget what they're called. But what he's saying, heat lightning. No, it's not heat lightning. Anyway, I forget. I'll think of it tomorrow. Anyway, there's these little balls of lightning sometimes, and they'll act in an intelligent manner. The scientists are saying, like, no, they're not. They're a part of nature. We just don't understand how they work. It's a natural occurrence. And he's saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. These things have been observed going up into airplanes and going up the aisle of the airplane. That does not happen naturally. Okay, first it has to know where the airplane's at, has to know the speed of the airplane, has to know the speed of the airplane going up and down the aisle. That is not naturally occurring. Okay, I'm not saying it is or it isn't intelligent life. Got to read the book. All right, now it's a lot of speculation here. I will admit, there's a lot of speculation in most of the stuff that I read, but you're never really going to get the full truth. We're just going to get as close as we can to the truth, That's just the way things are sometimes. Some things you can't prove, like, why is the sky... Well, I mean, you can prove some stuff, but some stuff is conjecture. Like mathematical equations, yeah, you could prove that, or, your spaceship is going to explode. But other things, it's conjecture. Really good book though. Hard to read. I'll admit it. And some of the scientific jargon he uses, the language, it's not bad for me. I'm not gonna say I'm the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm not stupid. I've taken college level stuff, chemistry and biology, stuff like that. It's not bad, but at the same time, it's not all that great. I mean, if you're the kind of person who, you like watching, I don't know, MTV, The Real World. What is reality? If you like watching reality TV and you're not into science, you're not gonna be able to follow this book. You go put it down like in the first chapter. But if you're kind of like a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you can do some scientific research stuff, and if you've been to school, or you work on machinery, like I do. I work on machinery. If you're a welder or a carpenter, you can understand this book. It's not that hard, but then again, it can get in the weeds a little bit. I'll admit that, but it's a good book, and I can't really recommend it enough. One of the things it does is kind of spooky, and one of the things I liked about it is that it's bringing science and spirituality. We could say religion, okay? Not really religion, but spirituality. It's bringing them together. The spooky stuff, yeah. See, back in the day, I would say thousands of years ago, science and religion were the same thing. Okay, your local priest was also the local scientist. Okay, the medicine man. The medicine man, he knew all the herbs. He talked to the great spirit, whatever, the gods, and he knew how to heal people. People had a question about, what's 2 plus 2, they went and asked the medicine man, because he had all the information. So, but in modern times, as we have gotten more materialistic, science and religion have, they've gone their own separate ways. Now it seems, with information like this, that it's coming back together again. I'm not talking about like your Jimmy Swagger televangelist type stuff. No, I'm talking about spirituality and science coming back together. It's like, wow. And there's other things in here that's not in the book. Some of these plasma balls, they've recorded them around crop circles. Some of those crop circles are fake, but some of them is like, we can't understand how this got formed. And they recorded stuff at night and little plasma balls flying around doing its thing. I'm like, what in the world is this? All right. And there's some, he gets into a little spooky stuff in here. All right. It's a good book. Just if you decided to read it, just keep an open mind that it's not going to be the easiest read. Especially if you're not a scientist. If you're a scientist, you're gonna like, or like an organic chemist. If you're an organic chemist, this is gonna be nothing to you. This is like a nightcap. I'm just like, oh, it's nothing to me. Cup of tea. All right. Okie doke. That's about it. It's a good book. Once again, A New Science of Heaven by Robert Temple. Until next time, people.